From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, March the 23rd, 2023. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the Israeli public tonight about the judicial overhaul crisis. The Prime Minister said, "We have one country and we must do everything we can to protect it from outside threats and from an irreparable tear from within. We cannot let any disagreement risk our joint future." He also spoke against using dangerous rhetoric, saying protesters of the judicial reform are not traitors and supporters of it are not fascists, and said that he believes it was possible to pass reforms that would placate both sides of the argument and ultimately strengthen democracy. Netanyahu said he will get deeply and directly involved in the overhaul despite a conflict of interest agreement that prevents him from involvement, saying he would do everything he could to find a solution and calm tensions in the country. Defense Minister Gallant was also expected to give a statement tonight before Netanyahu. It was reportedly to call for a halt in judicial reform legislation. But after being summoned to a meeting by the Prime Minister, Gallant called off his statement. The Times of Israel citing Gallant's office saying that he met with Prime Minister Netanyahu this evening and presented him with the impact of the legislative processes on the IDF and the defense establishment, and that at the Prime Minister's request and in light of his planned statement this evening, the Minister of Defense is delaying his statement at this stage. Earlier today, several dozen Israelis were arrested for disturbing the peace during protests against the reforms across the country. The main arrests were in Tel Aviv, where demonstrators blocked the Ayalon Highway, a main thoroughfare, for over 2 hours before police used force, including the use of a water cannon and mounted police to remove them from the area. Water cannons were also used against protesters in Haifa. Turning to some other news, the Anti-Defamation League released its annual audit of anti-Semitic incidents for 2022 that it wrote revealed an all-time high since we began tracking the data more than 40 years ago. The ADL said anti-Semitic incidents surged to historic levels, rising 36% compared to the previous year. CEO Jonathan Greenblatt wrote, "There isn't a single factor or ideology driving this increase. The unusually high number is the cumulative effect of organized white supremacist propaganda activity, attacks on Orthodox Jews, bomb threats toward Jewish institutions, and increased incidents in schools and campuses." A delegation from B'nai B'rith International attended the 52nd session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva today to advocate for Israel and against anti-Semitism. B'nai B'rith said the delegation met with dozens of ambassadors and other senior diplomats from around the world to advocate on priority concerns, including the body's discriminatory treatment of Israel relative to all other UN member states. They also had workshops on combating hate. B'nai B'rith Geneva representative Nurit Braun addressed the council, where she also urged action to combat the alarming rise of anti-Semitism around the world and at the UN. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, March the 23rd at 7 o'clock. It's Talmud Study at 7:30. Likud Minister Dan Ilouz talks about his support of the judicial reforms. At 8, Jonathan Tobin speaks with Eric Cohen on Top Story. At 9, Letty Cottin Pogrebin is on L'chaim. At 10, a look at the roles of women in Jewish life. And coming up next, the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, March the 23rd, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.